Hey, I'm Anna and I'm back with another video, and if you're new here, my name is Anna, and if you're not, this is another video for you to watch. Please remember to subscribe, to go follow me on my social medias, and yeah. As you can see down below on the title, it's a Get Ready with me and story time. So I am gonna talk about how I manage mom, school, and work. Because people asked me, like I said, I wanted to do a mukbang. Some people suggested I should do a mukbang story time, but then I didn't have the time to cook, and I'm just very like, my time's like, so then it's hard and I don't have the equipment to do so. So I think I have all my makeup on hand, so it's better if I do Get Ready with me and yeah, and story time. So one person asked, like I asked this person what I should do for my story time, and this person said maybe my experience on being a mother and balancing school, and how I picked my major, and I'm like, why not, I'm down. So okay, like as usual, before I apply anything on my face, I like to put on my headband to have all my hair lift up, and then I apply all my skincare product on my face, and then as usual, chapstick. I put on chapstick before I put on anything, like even skincare or makeup. So yeah, and the way like I enjoy getting ready is probably like put on some music. So yeah, and I know I have like really weird taste in music. Like I can go from really classical, and then I can go from like hardcore, I don't know, hip hop or whatever, but just bear with me, okay? Um, so I got asked, right? I got asked, how do I pick my major? Well, I've always known that I like anything that requires me to be creative. Like I can, like, I like designing, but like I'm good with like art, not like drawing or whatever, but I'm okay with my drawings, but I prefer like digital art, like design posters, do this, or like anything on laptop design. So yeah, and the reason why I picked, okay, cool. So when I applied, okay, this is what happened. When I applied for school, I was just like, ooh, I want to go for fashion designing. And then when everyone loves fashion, like when you get into school, you'll know how much work it is. Fashion designing is so much work, and I didn't understand. I didn't understand. I didn't know what I want until I applied and experienced the classes, and when I picked the major. So I applied first as under fashion designing, right? And then, well, I was there for like nearly almost a year, and I can't really like pick up. So yeah, and I switched major. I didn't like, oh, I switched from fashion to like I don't know, architect or whatever. I just switched from fashion designing to fashion marketing, and so far I really like it. I love it actually. I love anything that I have to do, like creativity and carrying anything that requires me to carry my laptop anywhere. Um, yeah, and I want people to understand that um, I know, like, don't feel bad when you're picking a major and then you finally figure out that you don't like that major and you want to switch to something else. Like, though me and my parents, we don't connect like that, but at one point they were very supportive of what I do. Like, we don't agree to things, but when it comes to like what I want to study or what I want to major in, they're very like, yes, you should do it. And they can be pushy at some time, like at times, like they can be pushy, like my mom is always like, I believe in you, this is what you should do. And then on the other side, my dad is always making plans that I do not know about. And yeah. And then he just makes plan, make assumptions, and then call me in and be like, hey, when you finish school, this is what I want you to do. But then at the same time, I'm very thankful, like they're very pushy, but I'm very thankful that they are. Yep. And I mm, at one point I really do appreciate my mom and dad for understanding. Like, I know they're strict at they're strict all my childhood, and though they're not always there for me, and we have we have our own like problems. And as I grew older, I did try to fix it. I really did. And mm, I did try to fix it and everything with them. I really do. Um, but okay, to the main point is, okay, story time. I don't know what I'm saying. Like, I'm so focused on doing my makeup, I forgot what we're gonna talk about. Uh, so this person say that well, I should I should do some story time, and I should talk about my experience both studying and being a mother and how I picked my major. So how I picked my major, like I mentioned, I didn't just like know what I was gonna do. I went in, I was just like, I want fashion designing. Because why? I love being creative, but I wasn't sure like if I wanted to like if I'm ready to like actually hand in hand into the making. Like, to be honest, I'm like, I can design, I can draw and everything, but into the making, I'm just like very shitty. Like, I have people do it for me. And and okay, so my schedule depends. Like, it depends on like what classes I have that semester. Like, I can have 2 class or like 3 class or 4 class at most, and it like sometime it can be like a 2-day class and then a 2-day a week or like 3 days a week at most. And yeah, and the way that I balance it is I usually like on a school day, like my classes are not always like my classes are not always oh, I bronzed my face. My classes are not always like what do you say? like all day class. It's like a half day, sort of. So yeah. So the other half of the day, I usually like I'm always occupied. I'm always doing something if I'm out of the house. Like when I'm out of school, it's neither I finish up all the homework that I have, or I finish. If you don't know, I also work. Like I also take like side jobs, and I also have business running, right? Um, but I'm very flexible because most of them are online and requires me to go anywhere with my laptop. So yeah, uh, but it's easy for me because on the other half of the day I can like work or like do schoolwork, and then until like I don't go home until like 5, 6, or sometimes it takes up like the whole day. Like the latest I come home is like 10, depending what we're I'm actually doing that day, like what's my schedule that day. And then when I have my day off, usually like I balance mom, and then I balance house housework, meaning like clean is like I usually in my house we do like we're cleansing once a week, which means like we do like a major clean once a week. But usually if I stay home and it's not like that major cleaning that day, it's like just organizing, and it's not much actually. And then mom, I have a nanny with us, so usually I split that with her. Like usually she makes sure that he's fed, he's clean, and then my job as a mom is like I put him to bed, I milk him, change his diaper. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But um, as like a mom, and as like a- as a mom, and as going, and as a student and working, it is hard because like for me, honestly, like I forget a lot. Like I forget a lot. Um, if you don't know, because I forget a lot, I have like I bought a calendar sticker. It has all my schedule on it, and then I even have like a little. I have post-its. If you met me in person, I do have post-it on the side of my keyboard, written like all the homework or the work that I need to finish. And then I also have like a little like planner, like a little book, planner book, and then I write all my stuff in it. Like I have a hard time remembering. Like I have so much to do. I had a hard time remembering. But yeah, but well, so far I really like it because a couple years ago, if you asked me like to do a story time on this, like I have no idea what to put first or what to say first because I wasn't even doing anything. I wasn't even working. I wasn't even like doing housework. I was just like I was at the bottom. Like I was really at the bottom. I was struggling. I was going through a hard time. I was still trying to figure out what I should do. But now that I have my son, like I know I say this a lot, and a lot of you know this, but because of my son, he he made me uh, push harder, strive harder, like work extra hard, because I know as a mom, I don't before becoming a mom, I don't make the right choices. Like, I don't make the right choices, and I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do and stuff like that. And most of the time, I did make the right choices, but at a certain extent, I did know what I was doing. I didn't. I didn't do anything would um that would worry my parents so much, because I made a promise with them when I left home. Like, I made a promise with my dad that I wouldn't leave home and then come back at one point and like have him worry all the time. But knowing my dad and my mom, they're very like worried, like, oh my god, you're very skinny now. You're very like, you should eat up. What are you doing though? Like, why aren't you in place and stuff like that? And every time we meet, I was just like, you know, okay, this is totally my fault, because when I do something, I keep them to myself. Like, I don't need to tell people like, oh, I'm doing good now and you should know this. No, it's not like that. Especially with my parents, like, I always like to act tough only because I don't want them to worry. Like I mentioned, I never want them to worry about anything that I do. So yeah. Um and my mom, like, I because I'm growing a little bit older now and that I become a mom, I discuss a lot of things with my mom. I'm like, hey, these are the problem I have. This is the choices I want to make. And then she's like, well, did you discuss this with your dad? And I'm just like, no. And she's like, why not? I was just like, well, it's because I told you I don't always like going around telling people what I'm doing, because that's not me. I don't do that. I'm just not. Mm, I'm just, that's not me. I don't like go around and tell people that I'm like, hey, I'm doing better now. You should you should feel proud of me whatsoever. That's not me. And when I chose my major, like, I've always told my parents, like, oh, I would love to be out in Paris one day. I would love to, because they know I love dressing up. Like, they know I love dressing up a lot. They do. And they're like, well, you should do fashion. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, I should. And then okay, I when I picked the major, I told them, like, hey, look, um I have to do something under fashion. And my dad was like, go for it, like. And he was very straightforward with me. He was like, I want you to do business. I want you to make use of yourself. I want you to like to to follow your dreams, because just because I didn't get mine doesn't mean like you shouldn't follow yours. And I was just like, well, that's cool, because my mom is strict, but she's open. My dad is strict, like, on certain things, but he's, what do I say? He studied abroad, so he understands. Like, most of the time, me and my dad were like best friends when we were younger. So I tell him just about everything. Like, even if I was to lie to my mom, like, if I lie to mom, I tell dad the lie, and he's like, well, but he wasn't like, oh, you should not tell her. If you lie to her, you shouldn't, like, He was like being pushy. He's like, when are you gonna tell your mom all that lie that you told her? You need to tell her the truth. I'm like, hell yeah, I need to tell her the truth, but it's just not now. And then he was like, well, it had to happen fast. So Yes. So I told my dad was like, when I told my dad I wanted to go under fashion, he was like, um, mm, he was like, I want you to do business. I don't want you to get into political, only because first, this is one thing I like about my dad. He've always, no matter what he do, he's very low key when it comes to family, and I really like that because one time he told me, like, he went straight out with me. He's like, the only reason why I don't put you out in the public was because in the political world, no matter what you do, there are people that might like you and people that are don't, and they have bad intention. And growing up, I always like feel bad. Like, I'm like, why don't you bring me out to meet all these people? And after I grew older, I was just like, yeah, I kind of understand. I picked it up. I understand. Because even if I was working or I was doing business, I hardly like bring my son out to meet anyone. Like, he's on social media and stuff like that, but to see him in person, like, I hardly bring him around. So yeah. But school, but how do I balance school and mom and stuff? Well, it's a lot of work. Like, you have to be me to understand. Like, usually I don't even know how I balance it. Like when I'm finally out of myself, like I'm out of my own body, I was just in another perspective. I asked myself question. I'm like, how do you even balance like school and work all at once? Like, how do you even do it? Yes, I'm very weird. I ask myself questions. I know, but yeah. Um, but I know, like, a lot of you ask me, mm, a lot of you ask me how do I work and also be a mom. There are days when my nanny has to step out, so I have to bring Devin to work. Like, sometimes I'm so okay as as a mom, and as I have to balance mom and work. So usually I have like a big tote bag, and then I would have like his stuff on one side, and then my stuff on one side. But at the end of the day, like, everything goes in together. Like, I don't I don't know why. But when Devin was younger, like, we always had a nanny. She was very understanding, so she was always home, like, taking care of him. But as he grew older, he wasn't that hard to take care of, so I'm able to like take him around with me to work. And a lot of the time that I had to work and bring my son, um, a lot of people that I work with really love my son. Like, I don't know how he pulled it off, but they really loved him and are good. You know, when I go to work, I'm always worried, like, how do people feel when they see me like really young going to work, and also like um and having a son, and my appearance, like most of you like know that I have tattoos and stuff. When people look at you, they they have like second thoughts, especially when you have tattoos and then you're young and you're a mom. Like, people have a lot of thoughts, but I'm glad the people that I work with is very understanding, and they're very cool, and they love my son a lot. And yeah, well, oh my god, I'm really bad doing my makeup on camera. Like, usually I do it in the mirror, and my brow is best done when I'm like close up in the mirror. Yeah. Okay. Um. So yeah, I guess there's not much, There's not much, like, but overall, I really do enjoy working and mom in school. There's this okay, funny story is there's this one time my nanny was out, and so I have to bring my son to school, and then I was having I can't remember what history of costume. Yeah, I had to bring my son to that class, and I told my teacher that I'll finish all his work under one condition. If he had so the whole entire class, the condition where he has to listen to nursery rhyme the whole entire class, and that if my son is sleeping, it's okay, but if he's awake, my teacher has to take care of him. And yep, it's pretty cool. Like, my classmate loves him, my as well as my teachers. Like, I'm surrounded by people who loves kids. Period. Yeah. My eyebrows looks weird. I fixed, but yeah, this is pretty much it. Like, I'm sorry guys. I know, like, I'm so focused on doing my makeup, and I don't know. It's hard to like talk and do makeup at the same time because I'm so bad at multitasking. Like, if I multitask and it doesn't require me to not talk, uh, I'm good. But if anything, multitasking and doing work, doing something, and then talking is hard for me. But I'll learn how to, right? Because, oh, if you're wondering, I'm somebody who likes convenient. I don't like to carry a lot of things, so sometimes I use most of the time actually, not sometimes, I use my bronzer or my contour or whatever you call it, um, as my eyeshadow as well. And then I have this little palette that I carry around. Yeah, I carry this around sometimes, but mostly I get everything done at home because I don't like to bring anything with me. Uh, but yeah, so far I'm loving the mom life. I really do. I know, like, people are very curious, like, how I balance it. Well, you know, it's all the same. You have to get all the work done, and it's all about time management. And I managed to pull it off. Like, I wing it just like that. Like, I don't plan. I don't like just plan how my days go. Like, I just like surprises and wing things. Like, winging the work. winging on mom, and it did work actually. Like, yeah. So far it did work, and I'm loving the whole winging thing. So, yep. But well, now I guess my parents are less worried about me because I told them, like, hey, if you keep worrying about me, it makes me push you away. Like, they make a really big deal. They do. My mom, especially, like, if this if the situation is like a 5, she makes it a 10, and then she goes tells everyone. She, like, first she would call her brothers and sisters, and then she called my dad and be like, hey, do you know this is this? Especially if she finds out that I'm hospitalized, damn, she that lady would go cray. Yeah. She was like, why are you being hospitalized? Why are you like this? Why are you overworking? And then for my dad, when I tell him, like, you know, he knows, like, we don't talk a lot. Like, we come from a family where we don't talk about our feelings, our troubles, or whatever. But all my dad say is that, every time we meet, and then he always ended with, like, just take care of yourself, eat a lot. And don't worry me. You're getting old. You're a mom. Don't worry me a lot. I'm just like, I know, okay? Don't. Um, as much as I'm your daughter, but I'm not like 10. I'm like old now. So please trust me. I'm doing very good. That's all you need to know. So I guess this is it. All I have to do is finish my last step, and I'm good. Ow. Um, so, I don't know. This video is so boring because your girl cannot balance, like, getting ready and talking at the same time. And when you watch the video, it sounds like nonsense. Like, yeah, but please forgive me. This is my first time getting ready and, like, talking. So yeah, so bear with me, okay? Um, ow. Um, yeah. So this is it. Um, I hope you understand what I was just saying, because I don't even understand what I said. uh, so I hope that I hope that I did cover what you were curious about, and I'll perfect it one day. Don't worry. I will perfect the whole doing something and then talking at the same time. But as of right now, this is my first time. Please forgive me if, like, it's all over the place. So yeah, so this is it, and I'm done with my look. And I forgot to spray to keep all my makeup in one place. And yeah, this is it, and I'll be off now. So hopefully you see me with another video. And If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. If you haven't, follow all my social media, add me on Snapchat, follow me on Instagram to be updated. So I guess this is it, and I'm gonna say bye. Bye, guys.